Morning guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to have a look at my Mini R58 John Cooper Works, which is a stage 3 car. It's quite heavily modified. Some of you might be, oh, it's boring, it's a Mini. But actually I still really love this car. It was one of the first cars I heavily modified, and I've held on to it for a reason, because it is a brilliant little car that really does punch above its weight. So what we're going to do is we're going to go tip to butt as quickly as we can and try and list every modification that's on the car, although there are a lot on this car, so I may miss some out. So the car is a 2013 John Cooper Works Mini R58. That's the two-seat coupe version. It's got a stiffened chassis over the standard car, and the John Cooper Works standard produced 212 horsepower, I believe, from a 1.6 litre 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, which is derived from a Peugeot engine, believe it or not, with a Borg Warner turbocharger. So, my car, what have we done here? Starting on the nose, we've got colour-coded surrounds, so did a complete chrome delete almost on this car. Got a blacked out nose badge, black grille surround. We've also got the rather cool DRL lights which light up in a ring. Going straight under the bonnet, we have an AEM strut brace, we have an AEM turbo heat shield, and the famous AEM induction kit. So what that does is it opens up the actual redundant air intake on the bonnet, which normally doesn't get used, it's just there for show, and feeds air in through this plastic channel into the airbox, and it really helps the engine breathe a lot more efficiently, because the standard intake is just this dinky little thing in here. We have a hybrid turbo in this. It's a Borg Warner that's been modified by Owens Developments. It's one of the best modified turbos you can get for this car. Basically what they do is they take a standard Borg Warner turbo, which is normal on the John Cooper Works car, and they mill it out to give it more capacity and allow it to punch higher, more above its weight. The turbo is actually capable, I think, of about 330 brake, but in my car, the car's producing about 300 brake horsepower from its 1.6 litre 4-cylinder engine. This is the N18 engine, which is the later engine of the Generation 2 Mini and is generally much more reliable. I haven't had any issues with this car at all with regards to the engine. It's performed perfectly, really. I mean, the car's done 76,000 miles now, believe it or not. 30,000 of that were on a stage 3 map, producing 300 horsepower and 430 newton meters of torque, and it's been a brilliant little car. I can't really complain at all. So in addition to the hybrid turbo, the car's also got a Krapovich downpipe, which is a 100 cell sports cat. It's got a Remus exhaust system following on from there. It's also got a TTV clutch. That clutch is much higher rated than the standard clutch. I think it's rated up to about 500 brake, so plenty of headroom there. And then in addition to that, it's also got an LSD. It's a plated diff in this one, and it's pretty much essential when you're putting that amount of power down through the front wheels. So moving around the car here, let's have a look at the wheels. So I've got Oz Ultra Leggera wheels, which I really love. They complement the car really well. We've got the standard John Cooper Works brakes, which are 4-pot Brembos. Have got upgraded pads, which are Brembo sports pads, and also I've got night track discs front and rear. I also have Hell Steel brake lines on this car. The suspension is KW version 1 coilovers. Allows a car to sit lower, and I think they're a really good compromise between drivability and handling. They're also very much a fit and forget suspension type, which really kind of looks after itself, and they withstand the elements really well as well. tyres, I've got Yokohama's front and rear. Now I used to be a really big fan of the Yokohama AD08R. They discontinued that tyre unfortunately 2 or 3 years ago, and now we're stuck with the AD08RS, which just doesn't handle quite as well as the original AD08R. It just doesn't have the grip. There was something with regards to the compound that the original tyres were made out of that wasn't eco-friendly enough, so they had to switch the compound. There is a new one out now called the 09. I don't think is available in the UK yet, but yeah, they're okay, the ARS, but they're not brilliant. So coming down the side of the car here, we've got these custom side scuttles that I finished myself. We've got this funky little Audi style signal light. We've got carbon fibre mirror caps, and I've blacked out the belt line with vinyl. We've also got blacked out door handles. Coming around the back, we have stubby rear aerial. We also on the R58 have this funky little electronically controlled rear fin. This pops up at about 50 miles an hour. So I have actually got active aero on my little Mini, and it drops down again at 40 miles an hour. Looks kind of funky more than anything else, I suppose. We've got carbon fibre rear boot handle cover here. Coming down the back, you can see down here we've got a fairly chunky rear diffuser. So this is the John Cooper Works GP diffuser off of the GP2 car. So at the end of every Mini generation you get what's called a GP car. The GP car is basically the pinnacle before that production of that particular model ceases. So the aero kit from that includes this diffuser. It also includes an under tray that goes under the front of the car. I have both components, and it basically makes the underside of the car completely smooth, just like a McLaren or a Lotus, and helps create actually a considerable amount of downforce. I think the numbers are over 100 miles an hour. It creates an extra 120 kilos of downforce. So yeah, quite a cool little bit of kit, and looks cool as well. So here we have my Remus tailpipes. They're 100mm pipes. They're quite expensive. They're a little bit disappointing because the carbon fibre inserts go a bit manky quite quickly, but they're still aesthetically, I think, one of the nicest pipes you can get for this car. So if we have a look inside the boot here, one of the advantages of the coupe is that because you've only got 2 seats, you get a nice big boot, and you can see this funny little tank here. So I have meth injection on this car as well. Measured on the dyno, it gives you about an extra 5 to 10 horsepower. If we come back round the front, you can see where the meth goes into the airline here. So it's a progressive system. It's got a little microcontroller which you tweak and set it to get it to the level that you want. And as your revs go up, it sprays slightly more meth into the system. Having monitored it with an app, it really does make quite a big difference to intake temperatures. It normally drops intake temperatures by sort of like around about 10 degrees, which in this little engine, which gets quite hot because obviously it's working really hard, and it can suffer from heat stroke, especially on track. Heat soak, should I say, not heat stroke. It's a good benefit to a little car like this, and yeah, it's quite a ball ache to install. Effectively you have a pump, which is actually, I've hidden in here, which is normally the tool compartment, that pumps it through. But quite a cool little bit of kit if you really want to push your Mini to the max. Coming down the back here, I'm not sure whether you can see it, but I have a stiffened rear anti-roll bar. It's that blue thing in there. It's a Super Pro one. That basically just sharpens up the steering on the front of the car. It's got very sharp steering, this little car, actually. Coming inside, Standard John Cooper Works fare really. Still really nice looking cars, I think, on the interior, considering their age. I really like the steering wheel. I haven't done a huge amount interior, as I've said on my previous cars. I'm not a massive interior guy. I've added a couple of extra bits of leather here and there. We've also got this kind of funky carbon fibre John Cooper Works gear change knob, but that's about it. I did want some fancy seats, but it's a couple of grand really to get some Sparkos in here, and I just didn't want to pay the money. Coming down the side, this is another funky little feature. So you can notice I've got a cutout here on the A panels. This is a custom made option that became a little bit popular in the mini community for a little while. So these were made by a guy who just sort of like banged them out, essentially, bodywork guy. And I then sent them to my painter, who's done a lot of work on my Lotus, and he painted them in the matching body colour, and then I fitted them to got them fitted to the car. Quite a cool little addition that just makes the car stand out a little bit. A little bit of an OEM plus feature there. So that's my Mini. Still going strong. It's been a brilliant little car. Really does punch above its weight. She does pull like a little train. The map that she's running is a Manic Motorsport map. It's pretty much widely regarded as the best tuning company for the BMW Mini. Hence the little logo at the back there. It was tuned at 1320 Mini in St Neots. They're the best guys for that really, them and another company called Lowen, but the 1320 guys are more local to me, and it's been really reliable, considering that the car's sort of 50% up on its stock power. And I recently took it on a road trip with a bunch of McLaren owners. I was unable to take my McLaren, unfortunately, because it's still stuck at Lichfield. And I was really quite amazed as to how well my little Mini performed. I was on the twisties. I was more than able to keep up with most of the other drivers. So yeah, really happy and proud of this little car. Okay, so that's the end of the video, guys. Any questions, comment below, and we'll probably catch you for some more McLaren content next time when I get my car back.